I respect everybody until they earn my disrespect. So I was reading a story about the fraud perpetrated, and it seems even helped by the IRS. All of these Mexican IRS returns that were just recently exposed as going to one address. And we're talking thousands of IRS returns that we find these recipients never even paid into in the first place. But the IRS gives illegal aliens this number for them to pay in taxes if they do work, and it's just a big scam. And the Mexicans are onto it, and it seems that the IRS is aiding them. How the hell can you not know, not see, not be aware of thousands of IRS returns going to the same address? Some of these workers, when it was investigated, actually said that they were pushed by their higher-ups to get as many of these applications for this number processed. And it was these people's jobs to review them, to approve them. Well, they were pretty much told to just approve them. And I think that's pretty much confirmed, as I said, when thousands of returns go to one address. And nobody notices that all of these are all Mexicans. Wow. While they're illegally claiming nephews and nieces and children, supposedly, that aren't even in this country. They're back home in Mexico. This is a massive, massive fraud. And the IRS is helping it along. All the while, going after Americans for their political beliefs. This doesn't foster fraud and more fraud. We have people that are getting food stamps, and it's no longer food stamps. It's a nice little card that you can take it to the strip club, and they got a little machine in there for you to get money out. Yep, with that little food stamp card. It's supposed to be used for food. And with restrictions so easy to get these, food stamp recipients are at a historical high. Never been this high before. Historical. Of course. Fraud. Rampant fraud. So no wonder why the Mexicans are streaming over the border to try to get in on some of this gravy train. Then we got senators that are now going to start writing legislation to give these pieces of shit amnesty in this country. Well, the previous video I mentioned overpass protests and the fact that senators and congressmen are in their own districts right now. They're on recess. So now's the time to make the calls, to make the overpass protest sheet. Go out there and spend an hour. Spend 6 hours. Spend whatever time you have. Go there after work. Doesn't matter. But these illegal aliens getting amnesty cannot go. We cannot let this fly. This is a very important issue, people. If this happens, our economy will be devastated. It's not going to help the economy. It's not going to kick $1 trillion into the economy like the illegal alien Muslim dog tells you it's going to. What they're going to do is they're going to take you and my job. They're immediately going to have crimes expunged from their records. 3 felonies, if you like. This is incredible. They're going to be able to get away with perpetrating identification fraud. They're going to be able to get away with perpetrating rapes, crimes. So immediately, upon this piece of shit signing into legislation, this amnesty, these pieces of shit will be able to go out and buy a gun then. Certain citizens can't buy a gun, can't commit one crime and buy a gun, but you can be an illegal alien piece of shit, commit who knows how many crimes, but get caught for 3, and still be able to go out and buy a gun the minute this piece of shit signs you in as a citizen. I hope people are reading this Amnesty horseshit bill. Because, of course, everybody slips their own pork in there. And it is pork. It's horseshit. So, we need to call our congressmen and our senators. No, now is not the time to give these pieces of shit and their illegal aliens. Remember to use the proper words. This undocumented horseshit? No. We're not going to sugarcoat shit. They're illegal aliens and they're felons. No, you don't get amnesty. People have been coming into this country for how long? You do it the proper channels. Now, if ICE had been doing their jobs, and of course some of them come forward and say they're not allowed to do their jobs. If the government had done its job in the first place, and if they had enforced the laws that we already have on the record, we wouldn't have this friggin' problem. So, what's to make us all believe that if they make more laws, they're going to enforce those? You see, Obonghole just made a healthcare law, and then, well, not right now. That's wholly unconstitutional. Make a law and then, well, I'm not going to enforce it right now. You can't do that. Why are people not seeing this? Why is there not a big, huge uproar over this? You can't do that. He's not an imperial. He's not the king. He's not a dictator. He thinks he is. But the President of the United States cannot just summarily dismiss whatever law he feels like. But then again, that's exactly what's been happening with our immigration laws. They have been ignored for years. Why? Why would they want this flood? You go to Mexico. Do you know Mexico does have a nice, big, shiny fence on the border of Venezuela? They have Border Patrol agents. They have towers. They don't have them up here. Might be a little conspiracy there. How else is Holder able to just pass guns over the Mexican border? Easy as shit. I can find videos online of little Mexican children crossing the border in the morning, going into school, crossing the border at the afternoon when they get out of school and going home in Mexico. Nobody says a word. Nothing. Not a word. These people have been scamming us and robbing us for years. It's time to stop that gravy train. If we stop the gravy train and actually use that money, you know, all of the medical that these people get, we know they get housing subsidies, illegal aliens. They're getting food stamps. They're getting their Obama phones. Well, let's take all of that shit away from them and use that money to ship their ass back across the border, where they belong. You're going to give them amnesty? What kind of horseshit is that? Read the bill, because it's pretty disgusting what they're ready to just give these people who have broke the law, who have continued to break the law. Every morning when they woke up, they knew they were in another country where they didn't belong. Every morning. And we're just going to reward them. Reward them. Yeah, it is a reward. And they are going to ruin this economy. A flood of workers on a job market that is as abysmal as this one is right now. There are more part-time jobs created, and I think it's 4 to 1. 4 to 1. It might be even bigger than that. This is a part-time nation now. This Obonghole scare has created a part-time nation. And now we're going to have to put up with these illegal alien laws that the Muslim gives amnesty to? We can't handle this. Congressmen and senators are home for their breaks. Time to give them a call. All of them. Tell your family to call them. All of them. They all have to call. Let them know your opinion. I don't want you to give them my opinion. I give them my opinion. You call up and you give them yours. When only a few people call, they can say we're nutbags. But when hundreds of people call, they can't call us nutbags anymore. When we say you have to look at Obama's illegal use of a Social Security number, that he never resided in the state it came from, this has been proven to be a fraud. His birth certificate's been proven to be a fraud. What are you going to do about it, Mr. Senator? What are you going to do about it, Mr. Congressman? Go to the town hall meetings. Tell them there's no way we can let this amnesty bill go through. There is absolutely no way. It will ruin this economy. We Americans deserve the jobs that come along. We need to get the illegal aliens out of this country. Start putting people back to work. Americans back to work. We need to get rid of this old bunghole scare and get back to full-time instead of part-time. How are people supposed to feed their families part-time? And yeah, that's exactly what it is, because employers are not going to put full-time employees on. You become a full-time employee, then they have to pay. Well, if the fine is much cheaper, fine. You know, the blackmail, if the blackmail is not, high enough, they'll just play the blackmail instead of paying the premium for the health care that they have to give their employees now by law. The government can't make you buy anything for any reason, people. Read your Constitution. And, just one man, that piece of shit sitting in the White House, the illegal alien Muslim mutt, cannot just sign legislation that will give him personally benefit, because he is committing fraud, as I told you, 3 times over, with that birth certificate, Social Security card, and the Selective Service card are all provable frauds now. And in this bill, this amnesty bill, there's a little S744, have a look at it. Because you can get away with committing identification fraud. You can get away with using a fraudulent Social Security number. By word, listen to this. You can get away with making a false birth certificate. Read it. So he's writing himself in a back door so that he can get away with this when caught? Well, sorry, but if you're a fraud, you're not supposed to be there in the first place, which means anything you've signed in the legislation is null and void, because you're a fraud, which means you were never there to begin with. Bye-bye. So, people, get on the phone. Call your congressman, call your senator, call their office, ask them if they're going to have a town hall meeting. You go there and you ask them, what are you doing about this amnesty? We don't want it. Well, I don't want it. You tell them what you want. You tell them in your own words. This is what we need to do. I'm making a bed sheet. I'm going out over the overpass, and I'm going to put on my sheet that we have to expose the old bunghole fraud. You damn skippy I am. And I think a lot of us ought to start doing this. Start doing something. Get up off your ass and do something. Doesn't matter what. I would recommend the March on Washington. Yeah, September 9th through the 13th. The Muzzies are coming on the 11th. Yeah, the Muslims are going to march on Washington to demand Sharia law. Little message for them I think we ought to bring. So, call your congressman, call your senator while they're home on their break. Ask them why they aren't working. Tell them we need jobs. This old bunghole scare isn't going to do it. Amnesty for a bunch of illegal aliens isn't going to bring us jobs. Call. Make a sheet. Do something. Let your voice be heard. I do. They know my voice. Let them hear yours. God bless us all. Good luck, America. I think we're all going to need it.